I probably should have done a few more things. I didn't realize how much time we'd have, so I apologize. We've got enough for, I think, 5 volunteers. So, last time I got this opportunity, I did things from a little girl's room. And this time I did things from my little boy's room. Gotta even it out, right? So I would love to see you guys be creative with what you find in here. You can show it as if it was on a commercial. You can make it something it is not, which I think is kind of more fun and creative. What you would use it for, or maybe you have a childhood story that would relate to the object. I'm giving you free reign on this. It just has to relate somehow. Okay, volunteers.
I'll go.
Okay.
I have 6 sons, so.
Oh.
I have a son that serves in the United States Navy. And the first place that he was stationed was in South Carolina, Goose Creek, South Carolina. That's where he went to nuclear power school. One of the jobs that he had while he was in nuclear power school happened in between courses that they were studying. The way the Navy has strategizes their nuclear power school is you study one subject, you have a little time off, and then you study the next subject. Well, during this time off, naturally, they need to keep all of these sailors busy. This one special day, it turned out that they were going to have some people coming from the U.S. government to survey the school and make sure things were in order. They spent hours power washing the sides of brick buildings, and on this particular day, it had to do with alligators, because the job was to go in the nearby swamp, don a vest of the bright colors so you would know someone was in the vest, and then someone was to stand watch for alligators while he weed whacked the weeds that were growing in the swamp. And my son said to me, so really we have to weed whack weeds in the swamp just to keep busy? Is this absolutely necessary? Thankfully, no alligators were spotted in the swamp on that day, but I'll never forget one of the ways that we as taxpayers spend our money. Thank you.
Come on.
Me? Are you? And then last time we were supposed to sell it. Are we just?
You can try to sell it,
Or just sell story related?
Yeah, I mean, you can do whatever you want. I mean,
Okay.
whatever comes to mind.
This is big.
Wait, sorry.
Oh, yes. Memories.
Sell or memory, or
Alrighty.
make it creative.
How many of you know what this is?
Is that a rubber band shooter?
Yep.
Maybe what you perceive it to be. What else could it be? How about just a trip down memory lane? When was the last time any of you had a chance to actually take one of these and go out and use it for intended purposes? Have you ever, Kevin?
Yes,
When was it?
when I was 12.
12 years old. Were you killing animals with this?
No.
No. These have a very unique capability of bringing us to our youth. Whether you're old or young, I find these things so fascinating. I can take one of my sons. I have 2 sons right now, 3rd on the way this week on Thursday. I can take one of my sons who's actually old enough to handle this thing, and we can go out and we can transform our reality into an immersive world of exploration and fantasy. I love what these types of toys, this particular, what did you call it? Rubber band gun?
Yeah.
This little rubber band gun can become whatever I want it to be, whether it's a .357 Magnum, it could be a little Glock, 9mm. This can be a laser pulsar, a beam with something with the potential to shoot down a spaceship if I want it to be. I want all of you to take on a challenge today, to forget the fact that today life is hard, and it can be, it often is. But I want you to challenge yourself to say, you know, I'm going to take it easy on myself today, not get mad at myself, but instead I'm going to go find something that takes me back to my youth. And if you have kids, do it with your kids. Take a step back into yesteryear, and then go practice being a kid again and see what kind of fantasies you can relive with your children. Thanks, guys. Did not say laconic. Oh, I'm sorry. She wants me to.
That was not laconic.
She has sticky hands on her phone.
Come on, Stephen.
Yes.
Alrighty. Pretty sweet.
On this necklace is a fishhook. I'm from the great land of Minnesota, the land of 10,000 lakes. Fishhooks were all around, all the time. I'll tell you about one particular story. It was at scout camp. I was fishing with Jimmy, and Jimmy had never fished before. He didn't really know what he was doing. So the first time he tried to cast the rod, he went like this. What do you think happened to the fishhook?
It caught on
Got
somebody.
in his pants.
It caught right on the tree,
Oh,
right next to him. The next time he tried to cast, he decided to cast like this. How we normally should, right? The thing was, he pressed the button too early, and the fishhook came backwards and caught my friend right by the ear. He didn't know what was going on, and so he pulled. Ripped ear. Jerry! Why'd you do that? You're an idiot! That's how Jimmy ruined my friend Nate's ear at scout camp. I'm gonna have to leave early, so
Joshua.
Yeah.
Got 2 items left.
your son has some cool stuffers.
He does, and he's gonna have a heart attack because I moved them, and he knows where every little thing is, even though he's got like one little
Let's see. Oh, that's awesome.
That's probably the perfect thing for
Look at that guy.
Josh.
Okay, so I remember when I was 3 years old, grew up in Wyoming. We had moved from Casper to a small town in northern Wyoming on the border of Montana. And it was the middle of winter. And the reason I remember this is because it was Christmas time, right? And I got these really cool dinosaurs that were around at the time. They had these little men that sat up in the heads of the dinosaurs. And so you could play with them. I can't even remember what they're called. It's been so many years. But I had so much fun playing with them. I was playing with them one time, and my mom came running and screaming and yelling into the front room where I was playing. I'm like, of course, like, Mom, what's wrong? What's wrong? It's hilarious. I'm a 3-year-old boy. And my mom is saying, Josh, there's a mouse in the kitchen. There's a mouse in the kitchen. And I was just such a confident young lad. And so I was like, Mom, I'll get it for you. And I was like, where was it? And she told me, it's in the knife drawer. It's in the knife drawer. So I go in there, and I'm looking everywhere. And I'm hunting for this thing. And I never found it. But I was always impressed, like, man, I was so brave. Well, a few nights later, my dad wakes us up in the middle of the night. Josh, look, I caught the mouse. And there was a mouse on that mouse trap. So from a young age, I feel like the dinosaur was a mark of just being brave. And that's who I was.
You want to call in?
Oh man, that's pretty long.
It's okay. It's okay. No pressure. No pressure. Marianne, come on, Marianne.
Sure, I'd love to.
Probably that. I know it's a lot.
Okay. There are 3 things being a school teacher
That you probably hate.
for 30 years. That absolutely drives school teachers crazy. One of the things that drives school teachers crazy is bouncing the balls in the hallway on the way to recess. boom, boom, boom. It's like, you, knock it off. The second thing that drives teachers absolutely crazy are pencils. Banging, banging, clanging on the desk. Like, ah, knock it off. Now, there was one particular time when it seemed like all the noise was just, bursting out. And there was somebody with one of these cute little toys. I mean, gadgets. I mean, busy keepers for those that have those ADD or whatever, attention deficits that it's supposed to help. Because what happens is, sure, maybe these fidget toys are great for the kid, but everybody else wants to play with them too. So they were all playing with this. That happened to be the day that I thought, this class, fourth graders, are so noisy, I don't know what to do with them. And I'm saying, students, where is all the noise coming from? And it dawned on me at lunchtime, after having this very loud classroom with these toys going all over the place, that perhaps it wasn't the students' fault at all. Perhaps the day before I went to the doctor, and perhaps really all the noise in the classroom wasn't really from the kids. It was because for the first time I could hear them. And that's when I got hearing aids. So those three things that drive teachers crazy are not always the students' fault. A lot of it's the teachers. Okay.
I guess we could have, if anyone else saw one of these objects and it triggered something in your mind, if you would want to go, you could.
I want to tell you something about the crocodile alligator.
Okay.
I just found out there are two ways you can find out whether it's the alligator or crocodile. It depends if it says, I have to remember how it goes. I just read it this morning. If it says later or after a while, then you know whether it's a crocodile or an alligator. That's why I'm not getting up there and give a whole speech on that one. No.
Okay, well, I'm going to say that I'm really impressed with all of the presentations today, because that was, I do not say a clear winner. Those were really fantastic. So thank you for participating.